This team is hungry. This team isn't done. We're going to keep fighting every single second.
This is part of the journey. Calls on 3, 1, 2, 3. Go.
Nick Bolton makes the hit. It's intercepted by Brian Cook. Cook, left side, touchdown!
Well, this hasn't been the year we first envisioned when the season began 4 months ago down in Brazil, and we're not going to the playoffs for the first time in a decade. But there's still one game left to play before we turn the page to 2026, and while this game doesn't mean a whole lot in the standings, it's still Raider Week. We are 2 hours from kickoff. You've waited all week for this very moment. It's finally here. It is time for football in Chiefs Kingdom. Let's do this. My name is Matt McMullen, joined by voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. This is Field Pass, presented by StorageMart. And Mitch, it's been a tough season, but still an opportunity to finish strong here today.
I don't care if it's disc golf or esports. If you're playing the Raiders in anything at all, you want to crush them.
Yeah.
And so I've been asked, as you have over the last month, or when we got eliminated from the playoffs, basically, tank it, get a best draft pick. Now, there's a lot of reasons to win this game. We'll get into it, but that's and if you listen to the opening of the radio broadcast today, I get into that in my monologue. But let's go. It's the Raiders. Let's win.
Yeah, can't get to the playoffs here today, but one thing we've talked about a lot over the last several weeks is the opportunity for player development in these games, right? And that continues here today. And we saw it last week against Denver, really on both sides of the ball. I want to talk about both, but let's start with the defense. Noel Williams was really impressive last week once again.
Matty had 3 tackles for loss as a DB in a single game.
Yeah.
Against a team that will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Noel Williams, to me, I'm excited about him, especially the way the Chiefs play defense. A lot of press coverage, a lot of man coverage. He's fearless, but he's also physical. Danon Hughes brought it up during the game on Christmas night. He was the one guy on the team that's trying to punch the ball out.
Sure.
This guy is a guy you can build with because he does play physical. And so I'm anxious to see him continue to grow today.
I think he has a chance to be a starting corner for us next year based on what we've seen over the last few weeks. If you look at Pro Football Focus and their metrics, they had Noel as the Chiefs' best defender last week, so pretty impressive. Another guy I want to ask you about is Christian Fulton. Now, Christian doesn't necessarily fit in the young developmental category. He's a veteran, but because of how his season has gone, I still think today is important for him. Rewind 6 months, we thought Christian was going to be a starting corner for us all season. Now, injuries kind of got in the way of that. Wasn't really a full-time starter for us until last week against Denver, and he was great against the Broncos. I think stacking another strong game here today would be good for us to kind of know what we have in him going into the offseason.
Yeah, your key verb is stacking. You want to see it consistently. You know, we saw it with the interception when Rashee Rice got hurt when he was a Charger. We got excited.
Yeah.
We watched him during OTAs and training camp. We're like, and he was hurt. He was kind of, where's he at? What's going on? And when he did get on the field, it wasn't great, let's be honest. But now we're seeing signs of what he was when the Titans drafted him, and the fact that he's got a chance to be a piece going into 2026. He was really good in the Denver game.
Yeah.
You talk about Noel having that PFF grade. It's against the Broncos. So that's against a really good group of receivers and the way they play. So many tunnel screens and short passes. So in Fulton's play, right here where he deflects it and gets both the interception, that's a play we haven't had a lot this year.
Yeah.
And we need those going into 2026. The fact that we just haven't had giveaways. We're 13 takeaways, it's got to improve next year.
Now, we saw a handful of other guys get out there on the field last week and play pretty well. Ashton Gelati played a bunch of snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper McDonald, who continues to be, I think, one of the bright spots of the season. Been an awesome story. He played 21 defensive snaps last week. Jeffrey Bassa was in there a little bit. Anybody from that group or maybe outside of that group you're looking forward to watching here today defensively?
Well, I'm really interested in that group, but I'm going to throw Kevin Knowles in there because we've seen Kevin as a special teams player. But is he a dime and is he a sub-package guy going into 2026? And so this is a laboratory for him. But there's enough good signs, and he's getting enough reps in leverage situations as a nickel or dime defender that you've got a real good sample size going into 26. So Kevin Knowles, he wears number 38, is a guy to watch in this game.
Now, same idea, but let's talk about the offense a little bit. And let's start with our tackles last week. I can't emphasize enough how impressive it was that Esapole and Chu Godric, who had 7 career games between them, neither of which were on our active roster when the season began this year, they really held that Denver pass rush in check last week. I think the best pass rush in football. Just 4 combined pressures allowed against that Broncos pass rush. Really impressive.
Kind of stupid, really, when you think of Nick Bonito and Cooper didn't have a sack.
Yeah.
They had 1
Zach
sack.
Allen?
I mean, they're getting 2 or 3 sacks a game usually. If they're gonna make a run and win it, it's going to be those guys that will precipitate the big plays, and the Chiefs didn't allow them to happen. How many teams in the NFL in Week 18 are starting 2 tackles that didn't play a snap of high school football?
Not many.
Probably none, I'm guessing. I don't know. I haven't done the research, but it's just crazy.
And they're playing well. That's the crazy part.
No kidding. And so even though Max Crosby will not play today, Malcolm Kuntz will, and Tyree Wilson will. Now, it helps Adam Butler's out for the Raiders, but there's still enough defensively here, and with their kind of blitz package and those veteran linebackers, that they'll get challenged today. But it goes back to your word, stacking. That's the key word right now for all these guys. We're now seeing games, not a game, not a Week 18 rest the starters game. We're seeing almost a month of action. So stack them together, and Essa and for Chu, they need to do that.
Brashard Smith fits in this category as well. It was great seeing Brashard get in the end zone for the first time in his career last week. Also had that 44-yard punt return. I'd love to see a big game from Brashard here today.
Yeah, and I think that we're now seeing fans want him to be like fantasy football, Saquon Barkley 2,000-yard guy. That's not him, but a really good version of Jerick McKinnon is. And the fact that they scored with Oladokin doing what he's done now, but then to get a red zone touchdown against the second best red zone team in the NFL was bigger than people realized. And that was a play where he made 2 guys miss, Brashard. So he's got a chance as a receiver and a runner and a returner. That 45-yard return, again against the Broncos, are all things that get you excited about his potential future.
Now, same question I asked you a few minutes ago. Anybody outside of the tackles and Brashard you're watching today offensively?
Yeah, it's not going to be real sexy. Well, a couple might be sexy because the wide receiver core is depleted.
Yeah.
Wait till we give you the inactives. And so Brownlee's back, right?
Yeah.
We saw him early in the year. He played against, and then Jimmy Holiday could get some snaps today. Well, who's he? He was another tryout guy. Remember his 50-yard catch against the Bears in the preseason. So those guys, to me, Jalen Royals has never been targeted. And, I mean, he's going to get snaps today. So that category, but I'm going to throw in an offensive lineman. Hunter Norzad may be given a chance today to get more action than he's had. What do you have with Hunter Norzad? And so, again, a good front by the Raiders. And so those are the offensive guys that come to mind that maybe are not on the front of the consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this game doesn't mean a whole lot in the standings for the Chiefs, but it certainly means a lot to guys like Hunter.
Well, Jack
Norzad,
Cochran's
right?
just walking by. I said, how many guys from Mount Vernon, Iowa are in the NFL today? He goes, 2. I forgot about Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Anyway,
yeah. But today means a lot to guys like Esapole, Brashard Smith, Chris Oladokin once again, and Chu Godric. And speaking of Chu, we had a chance to catch up with him on our podcast earlier this week. Take a listen.
People have asked, who's number 72? Well, it's Chukwu Ebuka Godric.
That's a good pronunciation.
Am I close? Am I close?
That was a good one there. I can't lie. That was a good one.
Or in the building, it's just Chu. Our tackle, part of the International Pathway Program from Nigeria. What has this been like? Because it's like throwing you to – it's not swimming with the dolphins. You're swimming with the sharks. And what has this been like for you?
Man, it's been great. Been blessed to get this opportunity to play. Been in this building for 3 years now, just, learning from the grades from the first year I was here, my second year, my third year, just, having that belief from the coaches, having that belief from my teammates, just going out there every day, training camp, OTAs, just doing my thing. I guess, it just got me ready for the opportunity. You just got to always prepare. You never know when it's going to be your turn. And, the coaches did a great job to, get me ready. And then when my number was called, I just went out there, did what I was doing in practice.
So let's start at the beginning. How did you first become aware, like, professional football could be an avenue for you? And how did this whole process start all those years ago?
I mean, this process really, I don't want to say it fell in my lap, but it fell in my lap. I always say it's God's plan, because 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you asked me if I was going to be playing pro football, I would laugh in your face. Even when I got the call that fateful day that, they were interested in seeing me work out, I was like, I'm a basketball player. Like, I don't know nothing about football. I don't want to do this. But, you know, you just trust God and just, you know, follow his path, and it just works out how it's supposed to do.
The pride you have in your heritage, Charles Amenahu comes to mind here. These first and second generation players from the African continent, but specifically from Nigeria. How proud are you now that you're in a role of representing not only your country, but even that heritage?
No, that's big for me. Every time I'm out on the field, it's in the back of my mind that I'm not only repping my team or my family, but I'm also repping my country and my, you know, continent. Like, we come out here and we had this opportunity to open a door for more guys back home. Because I tell you, it's a lot of, like, talent back in Nigeria, back in Africa. But what is short is, like, opportunity. And then for us that have the chance to do it here, we have to go out and show out for what we got back home.
How much awareness of American football is there in Nigeria? Like, did you ever watch games on TV, or when you first learned that you could do this, were you like, what is this? Like, how'd that work?
I mean, no, definitely, you know, there's ESPN back home, you know, there's a sports channel. So you see it passing. Like, I know growing up, like, I watched football, like, on passing, but I wouldn't really be, you know, locked in and watching. And I come to the States, I watch it with my uncle. You play Madden growing up. So I guess people know about football. Back home, we call football soccer.
Yeah.
We call soccer football. So, you know, but now that more guys are coming out from Africa, it's definitely growing. I tell you that these past few years, the sport has grown tremendously. You know, we have flag football now. We have, you know, even contact leagues sprouting up back in Africa. So it's definitely growing. And for me, even growing up, I would definitely say, like, yeah, I had an idea about football, but did I know, like, the in-depth, you know, what a flag was, or like, you know, penalties and like how much yardage was that? I did not know that. But, you know, the love of the sport is growing. Like any other sport, it brings people together. So, you know, once you watch something that's fun, and, you know, there's something about football that, you know, once you just introduced to it, it just takes off from there. The love just grows.
We talked about the connections here with the African continent and Nigerians specifically, but Christian Okoye kind of opened the door here. I mean, he was the Nigerian nightmare. How much dialogue have you had with Christian?
I wouldn't say too much. I mean, I know about Christian Okoye, the Nigerian nightmare, you know, one of the front runners that really did it and really did it big, because, I mean, he played a while ago, and then he's still a very prominent figure in sports. And, you know, he left a good legacy regardless of if I've spoken to him. His work on the field did all the talking he needed to do, so he's definitely been big for us.
So when you first got here, obviously pretty inexperienced, well, you kind of paid your dues in the practice squad, you went to training camp, you've done all that, and now you're playing really well when your number's been called the last couple weeks. You hold that incredible Broncos pass rush to, I think, 1 total sack, not a lot of pressures. How have you grown as a player from day one when you first were kind of learning the sport to now that you're playing against really good competition?
I mean, my mentality coming in is do what you can to get better every day. Even right now, you know, you say I'm doing good, but I'm back home like, man, I got to be better than this. I got to be better than that. But, you know, that's just testament to all the people around me and how I was raised that, you know, it's never enough. Like, there's always room for better. And just that's how I attack every day, just trying to find something that I could be better at.
In the huddle, and you're looking at Esapole. He didn't play high school football either. He was a hooper. So what's the feeling like when you're looking at each other like, we're kind of the same guy? Like, this is all coming to us late. But the fact that now you have to work with him in concert as the tackles for this team.
No, man, Essa a dog. You know, he came in this year, and then you could tell from the first day that, you know, he had talent. I always ask him, like, bro, how did you not get drafted? But, you know, it still goes back to not playing. But he a dog. He got that hunger in him. And, you know, just having him opposite me, having all those guys on the line, he just builds confidence that, you know, we all out here trying to giving it all we got. And, you know, it motivates everybody just seeing that.
During your time here, which one of your teammates that could still be on the team or maybe is left have you learned the most from over the years?
I've learned something from everybody. I cannot lie to you. From Donovan Smith to Prince Tega to Lucas Niang, man, even still Jawan Taylor, all the guys from Wanya Morris, Jalen Moore, like it's DJ Humphries. It's a little something that I've gotten from each and every guy because, you know, we're all different. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses, but it's important to, you know, be able to look at the vets in front of you and, you know, pick out from their strengths and learn from their weaknesses.
It's pretty cool. Any of those guys that aren't here anymore text you after your first start?
Oh, no, most definitely.
Yeah.
Me and Don play 2K all the time. And then, even before I got to playing, he was telling me, like, bro, just, you got all it takes to play. And I believe I'm going to see you on that field. And he definitely texted me after. He was like, yeah, I'm really proud of you, my guy.
That's awesome.
Final question. With Chris Oladokin, who also has some African heritage in his background, but helping Chris and what Chris has done for you guys, or this confidence that's going back and forth going into this Raiders game, how much has that grown in even just the last 7 quarters?
Yeah, man. Chris a dog also. That's one thing you're going to learn. This team is full of dogs. And then, opportunity is scarce. And then, you've seen it now that when you let the leash off a dog, he's going to go out there and do what he do. And Chris a dog, you've seen that from, taking scout team reps with him. We played a lot of games together in preseason. So I was thinking about the other day, like, it's crazy how far we come from, playing third-string team in preseason to actually being the starters for this great team. And it's just it's a blessing. And, I'm proud of him for, coming into his own in the moment and just doing what he's doing.
We have taken the leash off this dog, the Chew Dog, Chew Godric.
I like that, Chew Dog.
All right, great stuff there from Chew. Just an incredible story, and once again, really held his own last week.
I've had a couple people that have mentioned that they love that interview and watched it on DTK. I just think, there's more there than maybe we have seen. But it's also going to open up the door, because I've talked about these first and second generation players from the African continent. And now that we have these combines and we're looking for players, I just think with Chew's success and others that, the international pathway player, you're like, okay, it gives you one extra guy on the roster. I think we're going to look past that and try to look for some real players in this league.
Yeah, pretty cool. Now, I want to caveat this last segment by saying we don't know if this is going to be Travis Kelce's last game or not. Regardless, we get to see him play football today, and I think today is a great opportunity to celebrate and embrace one of the greatest players this game has ever seen.
I just talked to him, about a 5-minute conversation in the locker room. He's in such a good place, and he wants to tear it up today. He wants the team to tear it up today. He's on the verge of a lot of stuff we can talk about here. But if this is it, and we don't know, then I want to soak in every second of it and just realize this is a one-of-one player. I mean, we're watching one of the greats of all time who's been here his entire career, 13 seasons, 12 that he played, but the fact that I'm looking at, he's played 12,086 snaps.
Wow.
Unreal. And then what he's asked to do. He's asked to do everything. So, love the dude. He's in a great spot, and he wants to go out here and tear it up.
He has some great moments in this building, too. So I looked this up. Travis Kelce has the most catches and receiving yards of any non-Raider in this building's history. If you include the Raiders, he's in the top 10 of both categories, which is just bonkers, right? My favorite play, though, was his 22-yard catch and run right back here that set up Butker's game-tying field goal in Super Bowl 58. Never going to forget that.
No, and the fact that he's made so many clutch plays.
Yes.
He has so many playoff records. And, again, when people say he's the best tight end ever, I really differentiate that. You got to put him in with all pass catchers.
Jerry Rice.
That's it.
Yeah.
When you get to the playoffs, it's like 1-2, 1-2, 2-1, 1-2 with him and Jerry Rice. And so the fact that he's made so many big catches and runs on big moments, just like the one you mentioned, there's a whole bunch of them that sets him apart from anybody who's played the position.
He can make some more NFL history today, too, like you alluded to. So he passed Anquan Bolden for the 9th most catches in league history last week. And with just 2 catches today, he passed Terrell Owens for 8th place on that list. Pretty cool.
Neither one are tight ends.
Yep. Those are wide receivers.
He's 10 yards away from 13,000 receiving yards. He'll be the fastest player. He'll do it in 192 games. Fastest player in NFL history, fastest tight end in NFL history to do it. If he keeps his reception streak going at 191, that'll put him 4th in NFL history of all pass catchers. Look at the 3 in front of him.
That's
just
crazy.
Google it. And then another one, if he gets 7 receptions, he'll have 80 receptions for the year. He will have done it 10 straight years. No player, even Jerry Rice, no player in the history in the NFL has had 80 catches for 10 straight years. So that's just an example of what sets Travis Kelce apart.
Unbelievable. All right, we just got the inactives for today's game. Let's
Yeah,
dive
this will
into
be
those.
interesting.
So keep in mind, we already have 20 players on injured reserve, so a lot of regulars won't be out there once again today. Inactive today is Xavier Worthy with the illness. He was doubtful coming in. He's not going to play. Trey Smith with the ankle. He's not going to play today. George Karlaftis is questionable coming in. He's not going to play today. Means more reps for Ashton Gelati. I'm excited about that. Isaiah Pacheco, I mentioned that one yet.
You have not.
So Isaiah Pacheco is inactive here today. He was questionable coming in. You know who is active is Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is active today.
You've wanted it.
Yeah, we get to see Dameon Pierce play football today.
And he wears number 25. You remember him as a Houston Texan wearing number 31. He had a 92-yard touchdown for the Texans, but he'll wear number 25 today. So that 25 jersey's been passed around a little bit. It won't be Jamal Charles. It'll be Dameon Pierce.
But talking about player development and kind of figuring out what we have in some of these guys, Dameon Pierce can go out there against a real opponent today in this scheme, and let's see what he can do.
Right, and again, he's a bigger back. He's 215. So he's a guy that, when he's up and running in shape, he'll get your attention. Anybody gets a 92-yard run. The fact that he's been around, too, he's been experienced with some good Houston teams. So, yeah, why not? Let's see what we got. And that's, with Pop being down inactive, that's a decision to see what you have in Pierce, because you're still going to have the other guys, and Brashard Smith will be, a centerpiece in this game.
And you called it. Jimmy Holiday active today, I believe, for the first time in his NFL career.
Yep.
And Jason Brownlee active today. Let's see what they can do.
Well, go back and watch the Charger game. You'll see Jason Brownlee we saw him in camp. We saw him in OTAs. And then Jimmy Holiday, who has been bouncing back and forth on some practice squads. He's a little bit like Esapole. He hasn't just been here the whole time. He bounced. We got him back on a bounce. So, all right, Jimmy, let's go.
Well, Mitch, if anything, this season has provided a lot of perspective, right? This hasn't been at all the season any of us expected, but I think having a year like this makes you appreciate all the good times. I mean, earlier today I was walking around this field thinking about all the good times you and I shared back just a couple of years ago. Right over here is where McCole Hardman
You ran his
pass.
route. You ran his route.
I didn't post that because it's very embarrassing. But, yeah, I did run his route just for fun. Thinking about right here on this grass, the Chiefs became back-to-back Super Bowl champions just a couple years ago. And, again, that perspective is important. We want to get back to that, right? We've talked about that over the last several weeks. And in my opinion, the road to 2026 and getting back to that, it begins by finishing strong here today. For Mitch Holthus, I'm Matt McMullen. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let's go get a victory.